Oh dear. There we go. There's my microphone. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. How are we all? Are we all doing well? Hopefully so. Everything's going a little bit better on Planet Jar. I must apologise for missing the 8:30 deadline. Catler just woke me up from a nap because I fell asleep in the middle of a Discord call. I played like a couple of hours of Borderlands. We've just started Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, not the first one, but the second Vault Hunter mode, and not the third one. We're level 50. I'm playing a level 50 sniper crit-based Zero, and yeah, it's been going well. But inadvertently, while playing about 2.5 hours of Borderlands, about 2 hours of Borderlands, I forgot to blink. I didn't blink in like 2 hours. I kind of like looked away from the screen, and my eyes were like two wilted raisins. So I kind of just took a moment to like just lie down and sort of just, you know, close my eyes away from the game. Still talking to my mates and stuff, but just rest my eyeballs for a moment. Yeah, I totally nodded off. So here I am. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a bit delirious. It's no less than usual. Nice. So how are we all doing? Play nice, Durenthar. You can't say that to Freddy. Can't say that to Freddy. Terrible business. Yeah, so in terms of games here, Cold Waters. It's been a very long time since we polished this fellow off here. Oh. He made me... right. I know the feeling of accidental napping. It's called getting old. I know. All of these young people, you know. That's it. 22. Ancient history, man. 2 decades. Oh, fantastic. Khan Sonar, Sierra 1 identified as Quebec's submarine. That's it. We're going to have plenty of that. How am I feeling, UD? I'm feeling a lot better, thank you. I'm a little bit stuffed up in my sinuses. It's like I've got a little bit of a stuffed up sinus symptom, but in terms of the actual shortness of breath, that's pretty much gone, which is nice. Surprise naps are best naps. They are. I'll go and have one after stream, to be honest. But yes, I'm feeling a lot better. I'd like to thank there Mr. Zeringe and also is it Creator Draws. You know who you are. Thank you very much there for the for the host. For the host. Yeah. NDQS, thank you for the sub, and thank you to Rogue. That was it. Rogue subbed during the intro there. Hello to you, sir. Thank you very much for your 17 months. Good to see you. Nap after stream is just sleep. You've got me there. Time for some enemy whale hunting. Yes. There will be some whaled shenanigans, I'm sure. Right then, let's actually load up the game. It's been such a long time since I've fired up Cold Waters. We've been playing so many games of U-Boat. I hope that my sort of philosophy when it comes to playing Cold Waters is a little bit better. For anybody that doesn't know what Cold Waters is, if you've watched Digby play, like we used to play this years ago on stream. Digby tends to cover it more these days. He tends to put a lot more Eurobeat into the stream than I do. I don't have Mario Strikers charged on a hotkey, but if I did, I would play it. Let's see here. Do I at least have a game capture window for this? I do, shockingly. I wonder if it's still... Oh, it's still set up as well, bloody hell. Stranger things have happened. So yeah, this is Cold Waters. We're running a couple of mods today. I believe we're running the More Playable Subs mod as ever. Yep, we're running more playable subs, so we've got various NATO craft that we can obviously use at our disposal here. We've also got some sort of worldwide craft as well, some British subs as well, I believe, if we get all the way over. Yep, we've got Swiftja. We've also got Trafalgar class as well, if we wanted to take that out. I'm planning on really doing just sort of the 1984 campaign, which is very, very nice there. So we'll go from there. Disco sub, that's it. That's the one, Disco sub. The good old USS Jive Turkey. Right then, so yeah, we've got the Churchill class, we've got the Resolution. Or is that the Resolution? Yeah, Resolution. Target Resolution. Very nice. It doesn't say when was this built. 64 and 68. It's quite an old submarine then. It's amazing how quickly you need to like update these submarines to remain relevant. I believe we took this one out recently, the Upholder, and it turned out to be a big old bag of dicks. It was pretty shite. It's just a diesel electric. I don't even think a Hunter Killer, just a diesel electric. Hello there, Jarkon. Good to see you there, matey. And hello to Drag as well. Thank you very much for dropping in, my sir. How are you? Last time I watched Digby play, he just fired off 16 to 17 nukes in less than a minute. Very irresponsible of our man Digby. Right then. So let's have a look here in terms of what we're going to be playing today. I'm tempted to take out the one that I'm best known for, and that is my shitty skipjack class submarine. I don't know, man. I'm kind of tempted. Is the streamer crapping out? I've got no statistics here to say that things are crapping out here. Is he offline? It just says he went offline. I should be online. You'll have to forgive Twitch if it breaks or something like that. Also, 220 people here and climbing. You'll have to forgive Twitch if it breaks. The problem is that so many people are obviously in quarantine at the moment or off with regards to the virus. Maybe their work is closed, maybe they're in self-isolation. Essentially, yeah, what's happened is, like, yeah, there's a huge demand for video streaming services. I mean, you may or may not know that Netflix has actually cut the quality of its HD streaming by 25% to try and free up bandwidth. Rootedder, thank you. Sorry, Rooted Deer. Sorry, Rootedder. Your new name there. Thank you very much for the kind words, and I love you too, man. No homo. Only homo with the balls touch, which they didn't. I don't think. Well, don't know. Jury's out on that one. So yeah, just for people filtering in, Dave, good to see you there, matey. Yeah, it's fucking, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I've got my breath back. Life is good, as it were. God, fucking 200 people here in 12 minutes. Christ above. Go out with a German sub. I could go out with a German sub in honour of... What German subs do I have in? Grr. Let's see what German subs I have. Russian subs? No? All the Russian subs, Jesus Christ. You sure the Russian Navy's big enough? Oh my god, they made these ships playable. There's a Skakskoyo me. Got playable missile frigates. Eh? They've made ships playable. That is really strange. I'm not sure I will do that. Take a Russian comrade. Can you walk us through the options when it comes to ships? I guess I can. Yeah, I can tell you what limited knowledge I have of them. I'm not sure what Russian subs I have. I've got to be honest here. Must apologise. Russian subs. Fucking German submarines. I got some Australian ones in. We got some French ones. I'm guessing these ones? Yeah, I think these are the German subs, aren't they? They look a bit weird. Unfortunately, like the models for the submarines, you'll have to forgive their kind of rough-looking nature. Because there's no like official like modding tools for this per se, you kind of have to hack and cheat and slash your way into getting extra submarines. Importing extra 3D models to the game just seems to be a bit out there, unfortunately. 212, and then we've got straight to the Netherlands. So I've really only got a choice of 2 German submarines. I think we'll give the German submarines a pass because, as you can see, texture-wise, they look a bit rough. So I might give those a miss if that's okay. Right. I just hope that there is a bug where you can crash dive with the ships. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, take them underwater. I don't know. I might be boring and just take out a NATO submarine. Yeah, I might do. Okay, let's take out some of the more like classic NATO submarines here. I'm tempted to take out a Sturgeon if I'm honest, because it's sort of the bread and butter for the Navy at the time. Okay, so with regards to our options then, I'm going to pick the coolest looking one. Well, that would be the Jive Turkey there, Seat. But we'll go with one of the NATO classified subs there. The Sturgeon was probably the most popular sub at the time with regards to sort of hunter-killer and sort of generic sort of submarine screening roles, carrier fleet screening and so on. Los Angeles, not as widely produced, I don't think, or at least at this point in the war. So yeah, let's have a look. The Jive Turkey, yes, there's a one that looks like a disco submarine. It's around here somewhere. There it is. Ain't she a beaut? Yeah, there's a YouTuber called Jive Turkey. He also does some Twitch streams as well. They put like an honorary submarine in the game for him, which is nice. It's nice as a shenanigan kind of thing. But obviously a fantasy design. They didn't actually make this, but it looks gorgeous all the same. Yeah, I think I'm going to take out... I mean, I prefer my skipjacks, but I think I'm going to take out something with just a slightly bigger payload. So I'm going to take out... Could take out a Permit. Permits are getting pretty old by this point. Do you know what? We'll take out a Permit. We'll take out a Permit-class submarine. Right then. Yeah, Permit-class sub. Why the hell not? Should make for an interesting stream. Go with the Bling sub. That's it. Welcome to Warm Lands. That's the one. Right, so this is a Permit-class submarine. This is what NATO calls an SSN. by classification. So that means it is a submersible submarine and it is nuclear powered. We will go through various NATO classifications and so on in a moment. Permit class refers specifically to the class of submarine, not necessarily the individual vessel. There'll be various names of ship underneath this classification of ship. So there'll be individual ship names, but by and large, this version of submarine is called the permit. 4,300 tons, 84 metre in length, 9 metres in width, 28 knot top speed, which isn't great as of 1984, but this at the time is quite dated. This is an older submarine that will have undergone modernisation at the point. We're going to be playing the 1984 campaign, which I will load up here, actually, because I'm just on the unit reference at the moment. So let's go campaign. Let's go North Atlantic 1984 campaign. We are Commander Kubert. Commander Kubert. Lovely. And then we can take out the... We could take out a narwhal. I think this is modernised, isn't it? Does not actually exist in real life. It's a concept so enjoyable to anyone who wishes to use it. Is not designed to... Okay, well, let's not go with that. We could take out the original narwhal, actually. Should we take out this one? This is an experimental submarine. Do you know what? Actually, I do actually fancy taking out the narwhal. Sorry, it's way to backpedal on the permit there. But I do actually fancy taking out the narwhal for a bit of fun. So this is based on the Sturgeon class submarine. I'll tell you a little bit about this. So this is basically in literal terms, it's a Sturgeon class submarine. So if we have a look at the Sturgeon, we'll tell you a little bit about that, and then we'll go from there. Sturgeon class submarine, so as of 1984. So 4,640 tons, 89 metre length, 9 metres in width there. So a little bit chunkier than the Permit class submarine, but a little bit slower as well, 25 knots. 25 knots is not that impressive. 1,320 feet is quite respectable in terms of dive depth, but the difference between sort of American and the Russian submarines is that the Russians have an abundance of titanium, which means a lot of their sort of submarine hulls utilise titanium, and obviously titanium being a denser metal, is able to actually dive to much deeper depths depths, I guess, whichever way, depends how deep. But they're able to dive down a little bit deeper. Your average sort of Russian, and I'm talking modern nuclear-powered submarines, your dive depth for your Russian submarines tended to be anywhere between 2,000 and 1,600 feet. So they were a bit deeper diving. Not necessarily more technologically capable. They were certainly at a point on par with some Russian submarines, like the Akula, and some of the later Victor classes were definitely formidable for American submarines. Definitely ones to look out for. But quite a lot of the sort of Russian submarine fleet is quite dated, quite sort of Cold War, early Cold War stock, 1960s, 1970s. And at this point in the arms race is becoming quite dated. So a lot of the submarine fleet is quite easy for the Americans to keep track of, but there are a couple of players in the scene that are a bit more powerful, a bit more scary. And those are the ones that we're going to be trying to sink today. So yeah, this is the Sturgeon. I'll read you a little bit about this. In service since 1967, this class formed the backbone of US attack submarines during the Cold War until the mid-1980s. Stealthy, manoeuvrable, and with an excellent sonar suite, these boats can match up to all, or any, but the very latest Soviet boats. Their only drawback is their comparatively low speed, which means if someone fires a torpedo at you and you need to get the fuck out the way, 25 knots is not ideal. There's also a way to confuse, because obviously pretty much everything at this point in 1984 uses some kind of passive or active homing sort of seeker head. So if you imagine the way that jets use heat-seeking missiles, or radar-seeking missiles or whatever else, submarines use, obviously not missiles, but torpedoes. Due to the quarantine, I'll only be telling inside jokes. Clippo. There you go. Hi there, sexy voiced. No, you, Mr. Zai. So yeah, basically at this point everything has an acoustic homing warhead, or like sonar head, and it basically means that you've got to try and use whatever strategies you can to obviously fool and confuse the submarine, the torpedo I should say, until it runs out of puff basically. Once a torpedo runs out of power, it just detonates in the water rather than keeping going and crashing into some fishing village somewhere. So they tend to have about anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes to half an hour in the case of some of the American missiles and submarine torpedoes and stuff like that, in terms of drive time. Basically, what I was getting at was one of the ways that you could. I forgot my point originally. Waffling onto Cube Waffle. Thank you very much, Tebow. Good to see you this evening. I was going to say this morning there. I just woke up. Yeah, I've got 300 people here. I should probably get on with the game. But yeah, basically what you can do, if you a way to confuse a homing sonar head is that you can create like quite a lot of turbulence in the water. Obviously, sonar is looking for obviously differential in how sound is reflected against the water. So if you fire out a pulse of sound, obviously the sound then bounces off of the submarine's hull back to the warhead, and then the submarine is able to, or in this case the torpedo is able to roughly track where the enemy position is. But if you create turbulence in the water, and you can do that by thrashing your rudder around at really high speed, so if you slam the ship into a head flank, all the head full, and then give the rudder a good flap in the water there, it doesn't really matter how deep, you can create what's called a knuckle, which is a turbulent piece of water which can sometimes confuse a sonar head and can trick the sonar into locking onto that instead of you. It tends to only buy you time. It doesn't confuse the sonar head for long, because the sort of magnetic sensors in the torpedo go, actually there's nothing magnetic here, so it must not be a submarine. And then it locks back onto you once it's reacquired a different target. But yeah, in the case of that, that's one of the things you can do. But at 25 knots worth of top speed, you cannot do very many of those knuckles. You'll see some of the maneuvers that we're going to be pulling in the game to try and confuse sensors. I'll try and talk my way through it as best I can. Anyway, this isn't the ship we're actually playing. As I say, we're going to be playing a Narwhal-class submarine. Now, a Narwhal is a version of the Sturgeon that utilised an experimental power plant. Obviously, noise is quite important when it comes to submarines, because it's how easy passive sonar can pick them out. Thank you very much there to the great Grizz Waldo there for 500 bits there. Long-time lurker. Just wanted to show my appreciation. Cube love to that man there. Thank you very much. So yeah, noise. Ambient noise of the submarine. In the case of diesel-electric submarines, depending on whether they're running on diesels or in 9 times out of 10 in combat conditions electric, they tend to be quite quiet boats. Except some of the, the earlier Soviet stuff, which is like a fucking burly Russian opera singer banging a couple of bin lids together. But, at the point of 1984, obviously the name of the game is obviously staying quiet, as is really anything. The whole hunter-killer philosophy is to remain as quiet as possible and then shit a load of torpedoes over everyone's breakfast before they really have chance to, bring weapons to bear on you. In the case of this guy, all obviously nuclear powered submarines have a nuclear reactor at their core, and unfortunately nuclear reactors, with the amount of pumps that they need to keep coolant and stuff going in, they do create quite a lot of sort of base noise. And so with regards to the Narwhal class here, what they did was I think it says it down here, that's right, so this is a one-off design intended to take advantage of a very quiet natural circulation S5G power plant. So rather than using various pumps and systems to try and force water around, they used like a natural circulation experimental design just to try and see how effective it would be on this particular submarine. And the result of that, and if you know much about sound and submarines, results in a passive sonar signature of 115 decibels, which if you Google now how loud is 115 decibels, in fact I might just Google that, how loud is 115 dB. So to give you an idea, that's about the same decibel as a leaf blower. In terms of decibels there. So either a rock concert or a leaf blower, which in terms of like being submerged really deep in water, that is not bad at all. Cold Waters, haven't seen in forever. That's it, Godmama. Good to see you in. But yeah, this is essentially it. I'll just close that and then get him back here. So yeah, this is a very quiet experimental version using a unusual power plant for a nuclear-class submarine in an attempt to try and reduce the audio signature and therefore make the ship less prominent on passive sonar specifically. Active sonar it's going to make no difference about the power plant. That's a completely different form of target acquisition, but passive sonar, the quieter power plant does pay dividends. This made it one of the quietest boats until the emergence of the Seawolf in the mid-90s. So basically, for a while, this was one of the quietest boats going in the ocean. Very, very difficult to detect. But they never made many of them. I don't know why. Doesn't explain that. Maybe that's something you can tell me. But we've been going for 25 minutes and we're yet to see a hostile contact. So we're going to accept our submarine here as our Narwhal class. Again, same test depth as the previous one, same speed, roughly the same. I think it's a little bit wider actually, but only by a little bit. Number of wires will become obvious, and we get a full complement of weapons. So let's jump on in. So, new command assignment. Effective immediately, you are hereby assigned command of Narwhal-class submarine, USS Narwhal SSN 671. Congratulations and good luck in your new command. Fantastic. Now, because it has been a very long time, we are going to read out the newspapers with regards to the state of the game and how it obviously teaches you what's going on. So I'm going to try and read through them quickly, just to explain, obviously, the scene. A lot of you will know this already, but for, say, the new people that are coming in that maybe don't know what Cold Waters is, let's just set the scene for you. So the 6th of November 1984 is when this takes place. World news. What will Reaganism mean for US foreign relations? Foreign relations. New President-elect Ronald Reagan has begun his term in office by taking a harsh stance against the Soviet Union. The former Californian governor, once a Democrat, is reputed for his anti-communist stance and for rooting out communist sympathizers in Hollywood during the 1950s. Casual FM. Surprise Reagan, that's it. The new US president is regarded with suspicion in the Kremlin. The Politburo, I believe that's how you pronounce it, sources claim that President Reagan is regarded as somewhat of a cowboy whose presidency risks spurring controversy and conflict instead of a continuation of more denten? I can't remember. Basically, disarmament policies of Jimmy Carter. I can never get that word right. Can't say it. Right, so yeah, basically Reagan's in, and he don't like them Russians. Brezhnev, legacy, stagnation and paranoia. Analysis. The death of General Secretary Leonid Brezhnev is sure to result in considerable debate behind the Kremlin walls. The last decade has been one of stagnation and increased bureaucratization of the Soviet colossus. An unnamed diplomatic source was quoted in a recent Time article stating that the constant provocations from the Reagan administration have created an elevated and permanent anxiety concerning American aggression within the Politburo. President Reagan should think this over. It is dangerous. All very interesting. Okay. As of the 6th of November, provoking the bear, ? Is Reagan pushing too hard? Opinion. With the recent announcement of the Strategic Defensive Initiative, several independent political and security analysts are expressing a growing concern over the Reagan administration may be pressing the Soviets too hard. Tensions between the Soviet Union and the US are continually increasing. The increasing US military spending, followed by President Reagan's denunciation of the Soviet Union as an evil empire, raises the questions of just how the Kremlin will react. So yeah, basically Reagan's, putting his foot on the accelerator, trying to put lots of pressure on the Russians, unfortunately, and it's not going well on the Russian side. So all of this tension does come to a bit of a breaking point here. Soviets down civilian airliner. It looks like the date's broken because they're doing this all on the same day, it looks like. International outrage, as Soviet Air Force shoots down a Korean Airlines aircraft over the Sakhalin Islands. Again, I'm terrible with names. All 269 passengers and crew aboard were killed. The Politburo issued a statement claiming that KAL-007 was on a spy mission on behalf of the United States. We regard this as a deliberate provocation to test our military preparedness, or even an attempt to provoke war, the Soviet Minister of Defense has said. Tensions between Washington and Moscow are now elevated to a degree not seen since the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Overall, military readiness is heightened as NATO exercises in the Pacific and Atlantic are denounced by Soviet Union as deliberate imperialist provocations. Very nice. Yeah, KAL-007. That's the one. That's a true story, that one. So, Pershing missiles deployed in West Germany. The BONNBRD, again someone will have to tell me what that acronym stands for, deployment of the new Pershing II nuclear ballistic missiles have commenced in locations around West Germany. The introduction of this upgraded medium-range tactical nuclear missile into the United States' arsenal has already been the cause of considerable controversy between NATO and the Warsaw Pact, as well as within Germany itself. Independent political analysts agree that the continuous escalation of the arms race, each side's fears of the other side's technical superiority, and the strong anti-Soviet rhetoric in the Reagan administration all adds up to a volatile situation. Moscow's latest threat to withdraw from further control negotiations is seen as a particularly disturbing turn of events. The question looming over Europe is how the Soviet Union might react should it consider its diplomatic options to be exhausted. ? Let's have a look there. Bonn is a city, BRD is Germany, I see. Bonn is a city, the old BRD Bundesrepublik, Germany. Interesting. I get information. Oof, I don't know. Relatively unfamiliar in terms of the detail and sort of stuff. That's the one. So, Soviets thought nuclear drill Able Archer was real. Washington. In a congressional hearing today, the Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, Lieutenant General James B. Williamson, told the Senate the DIA's assessment of the Soviet response to NATO's Able Archer 83 exercise, which was held last November. General Williamson told a story that is a little too close for comfort. The DIA has concluded that the Soviet Union, for a short while, actually believed the United States was preparing for a first-strike nuclear attack using the exercise as cover. Thus, Soviet strategic nuclear forces were placed on high alert for at least a week. The strong reaction corroborates the strained diplomatic relations between the US and Soviet Union. Years of terse anti-communist rhetoric, deployment of advanced new nuclear weapons, and the outspoken ideological friendship between Reagan and the British Prime Minister Thatcher is said to have caused considerable fear amongst Soviet leaderships. Here we go. Right then. Soviets attack. War declared. Again, all on the same day. It's amazing how news travels. Right, Soviet infantry AMD armoured units supported by strike aircraft, see, I'm all thrown off now, have today stormed through the Fulda Gap region of West Germany, penetrating the inter-German border in a surprise attack. Initial negotiation attempts rapidly broke down and a state of war has been officially declared between NATO countries and the Soviet Union. NATO losses are reportedly very high. In the United States, military forces have been fully mobilized and convoys loaded with men, materials and arms have begun to cross the Atlantic. Reagan has addressed the nation, stating the full might of the United States Army, Marines, Air Force and Navy will be brought to bear on this unprovoked attack. Interesting. And that brings us in. So basically, lots of strain from the Reagan... Again, this is all hypothetical. The Russians didn't actually go to war in 1984. But the whole point of it is that basically the Reagan administration has put too much pressure on the Soviet Union, and with this whole sort of idea that they're going to up-arm and just keep poking Russia with various threats and so forth, means that it's all flown off the handle, and the Russians have launched a ground, naval and air assault of Europe, essentially, and NATO has been caught totally unprepared. It's kind of like when the bully sort of bullies the timid kid at school, and then the timid kid throws a punch, and the bully's like, oh my god, just caught completely, and that's essentially what's happened here. Russia was the timid kid. They weren't really, but like fucking, they've thrown the first punch, and we as the bully, poking them, we've been caught off guard. I'm obliged to be a strong supporter of Quebec, given my username, Nosebag Bear. That's the one. You're contractually obliged now. Can't break it. It's a blood pact. There you go. So, with regards to us, obviously, cold waters, it's all in the name. With regards to the war that is now raging in Europe, or started in Europe as of today, 7 o'clock in the morning, God. All of that all of that from 12 o'clock to now, Jesus Christ, the world's a crazy place. So we're obviously going to be operating very specifically, not only in naval, but in the submersible aspect of the war here. So, with regards to what we are docked at Holyloch in Scotland. That's where our current submarine is based, the Narwhal, as of the 6th of November 1984 at 0700 hours. From the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet, we get some top-secret orders with regards to a tactical situation. Intelligence has discerned a pattern to movements of enemy at-sea replenishment tankers and tenders. A small enemy force, including 1 or 2 of these ships, is expected to sail from Archangel shortly for a rendezvous somewhere in the Greenland Sea. You are ordered to find and sink this group. You may also get a chance at the enemy warships this group is intended to support, but the tankers and tenders are the mission target. So, as part of a wider scheme of area of denial for the Soviet Navy, the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet has pushed us out into the Greenland Sea to try and intercept Russian, not necessarily merchant shipping, but resupply ships that are going to be resupplying warships at sea. So if we can cut off their supply lines, we can stop enemy warships rearming out on the field, essentially, and require them to come back to port, which gives NATO more ground. So that's where we're going to be going from here. What is the history with your name? Long live Quebec. So the name, I chose the name Quebec as part of a DayZ clan. And that's just the Alpha Bravo Charlie Q for Quebec, PMC it was. You can watch the old Siege of Willow Lakes where we're not in ZF. Soviets got those. And then the whole long live thing, well, Quebec was taken, and I didn't really want to have ZF Quebec in the username as sort of a long-term... I mean, the odds of it ever happening were slim, but it's pretty bad if you like your ZF's favourite, you know, ZF Quebec kind of thing, and then for whatever reason, say I got kicked out or I left, you know, I'm still ZF Quebec in the username. So I wanted a name that was sort of not necessarily tied to the brand. Just in case there was this situation where I had something controversial happened and I had to leave or walk. And naturally, being British, the first things that I could think of were long live. And so here we are, long live some French city. NATO, alpha, numeric, whatever it is. So that's the history of the username. There's no secret history. I don't have secret love for the Canadian French city of Quebec, although I do. Secretly, I do. It's very nice. But yeah, that's not where the username came from. So it's much less romantic than that. So yeah, this is the mission. In short, we've got to go into the Greenland Sea, find a hostile replenishment force, no doubt being escorted by some sort of warship and or submarine escort, and then sink them, all part of a package, which is very, very nice. In terms of what we're going to be taking out on the open ocean today, we are taking 16 Mark 48 torpedoes. These are not the ADCAT variants, these are just Mark 48s. 2 mobile submarine simulators, so MOSFs, which are basically like decoys. And then 8 UGM-84 Harpoon ship-seeking missiles, which are very, very nice. So we've got 8 missiles, 16 torpedoes, and 2 special decoys. I think we're going to leave that like that for now. But let's cast off, and then let's make for the Greenland Sea. So we're going to be going up towards Spitsbergen there. Again, 25 knot top speed. This is kind of like the world map. You'll start seeing enemy contacts coming in, and we can tell you a little bit of what's going on there. So you can see down there in the southeast Germany, Warsaw Pact forces are attacking into West Germany. The Germans are probably going to make quite a lot of ground. It's our job to try and hold them back at sea, because the invasion of Norway along its coastline is going to be a naval affair. So we want to make sure that we're completing as many missions as we can to try and increase our chances of winning. Now, that is a hostile maritime patrol aircraft that's gone over us, which has likely reported our position to various what we would call ASW fleets, or anti-submarine warfare. This looks like our target here. Let's intercept. It's moving very slow. That's more than likely going to be our target there. So we know it's a surface contact. So, USS Narwhal, SSN 671, in the vicinity of the Norwegian Sea, 8th of November 1984, 0600 hours, been at sea for 2 days. Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 076, designated as Sierra 1. EXO reports our depth is at 600 feet, heading 353. There we go. Trying to get all the sixes out there. Have I played this much? Yes, I've played it loads, but ages ago, boff, so I might be a bit rusty. So, we're heading basically a few degrees off true north. Our depth is 600 feet, and our speed is 20 knots. Local conditions are clear with a moderate surface duct and thermal layer at 236 feet. I'll tell you a little bit about that if we utilise them. What we're going to do is we're going to close to... I don't know whether this button works, it didn't used to work. We're going to close to 15,000 kiloyards, and we're going to go all ships to battle stations, so let's do it.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Rigging ship for ultra quiet. So one of the things that may seem very different if you've watched Digby play Cold Waters is that I actually play with a mod that makes the water much, much murkier. I don't like being able to see my targets kind of thing in 3D, or like being able to see a torpedo before I've detected it. So I intentionally make the water a bit murkier, like it would be, so that I can't, because there's no first person in this. So I basically try and really emulate the fact that we are alone in the ocean.
076, designated Sierra 3.
076, that's rig ship for silent running. Oh no,
rig ship for ultra quiet.
We have rig ship for ultra quiet. And then let's begin what we call, I guess this should just be the identification phase of the attack. It's rather good then. I am and erred about buying it for a while and decided against it, yeah. I can easily see why. So, let's assume that what we're looking at is surface contacts here. So we're currently locked in on Sierra 1. What we're going to do is go to surface contacts and then try and find a rough sonar signature that kind of matches what we have here. Now these are all, there we go, these are Russian ships, Kiev. So we've got to find one that roughly matches this. This one here is quite a bright band here, so we want to try and line that up. See, that's not too bad. And Urga, probably not, because now this line doesn't line up. Not quite. Kazbek. Looks like we could have a Kazbek. Looks like we got a merchant ship. Let's lock that in. It's at the rear of the formation. It's likely one large oil tanker, and then that's called an AO. So yeah, an oil tanker essentially, and then 2 screening ships at the front. So let's assume we're dealing with warships here. So we've got 2 very narrow bands and 1 quiet band with 1 shining through at high frequency. So let's see if we can get that to line up. Looks a lot like a POTI FF. I believe that stands for frigate? No, it's too small to be a frigate. It's like an attack boat. Someone will have to tell me what FF stands for again. There's plenty of people in chat that are NATO savvy that know what that means. So we've got a POTI, and then lastly Sierra 3, our contact here, looks to be another one of the same ships. So very frigate is correct. Oh right, frigate was right. Fuck friend, double respect. Frigate is right. Okay, so 2 POTI frigates. Let's take a look at the capabilities of the POTI. So very, very small ship, 580 tons, 60 meters in length, 7.9 in width, 38 knots, and a crew of 80. So a very small ship. Comes equipped with some very dangerous weapons though, Set 40 torpedoes and an RBU 6000 system. Estimated range to target is currently 8,600 kiloyards as per the identification tag here. So yes, we are a little bit too close to come up to the surface and try and identify them. With regards to where we are at the moment, we are currently sitting down at 600 meters, with the total water depth being 1900 meters, essentially 1914. This moderate duct and thermal layer is going to help screening us against the warships above, but it's also going to make it harder for us to detect them. So currently we're on a bit of an intercept course here. We will see what we can do in just a moment. The POTI class was an ASW corvette, I see. FF frigate, if NATO designates just a basic ship, they use double letters, I see. Lovely. It's a floater, that's it. FFG, guided missile, DD, DDG, yep, destroyer, I see. Thank you very much, Freddy. And everybody else. Feet, not meters, yep, sorry, that's my bad. Yep, it is feet. Meters would be a bit more significant. Right then, so Sierra 3 we're starting to get a course for the target now. So if I come back down here, lots of ice up there. Yep, so Sierra 3's course is now estimated to be going at 333, which is kind of, as I say, north-northwest kind of thing. Sort of looks like swinging around. Currently pulling 20 knots. Sonar solution is 65%, which means this marker is estimated to be about 65% accurate. It could be closer, it could be further away. As he continues to move and our sonar continues to triangulate his active signature and noise that he's making, because he's blasting away on the active, which is why he's so easy to detect. Yeah, we'll try and find him if we can and get a more accurate position for him. Sierra 2 is going to be a little bit harder to track, mainly because of distance and because of the fact that this guy's creating so much noise that hearing the person behind him is a little bit harder. In the case of total water noise, it is 93 decibels. It's reasonably loud. 93 isn't too bad, actually. It's not super quiet, but it's not super loud either, which is nice. Sea state is actually very, very calm, so it's not too bad at all. Right then. What we're going to do is we're going to start firing on targets here. We can be pretty much sure that everything here is hostile, so all we have to do is get a couple of torpedoes trained on the targets, and then we can go from there. So dive, what we're going to do is we're going to come down deep. Our test depth of our submarine, which is the depth that the submarine is rated for, is 1,320 feet. We are going to come down to 1,000 feet. So dive, make depth 100 feet.
Make depth 1,000 feet, dive by.
000 feet, I should say, sorry. Force a habit. Right one. Yep, it's a narwhal toaster. Good to see you in. So we're coming down to 100 feet, making 5 knots ahead. Nice. Yes, for submarines, SSG, SSGN, and I don't know whether... I think, yeah, if it's just a... Yeah, so SSGN, missile nuclear. Doesn't SSGN not necessarily... Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that it's got a nuclear missile, it just means that it's nuclear powered. Am I right in that assumption? Or does that... does the GN, the N very specifically, allude to the payload? Yeah, nuclear powered. Thought so.
Oh,
right then.
yeah.
Thank you very much there to Nosebag Bear, resubbing 2 months sec. Can I get some cube salutes for our lovely contractually obliged Bearman pig? I don't know where that's from. Lovely. Good to see you in. All the salutes for you, sir. Right. So we're currently coming down deep. We're going to take our time with this engagement. That's it. Cube read indeed. Man Bear Pig is from South Park. Thank you. I've never actually watched South Park, not in any measure. God, you fucking know you are popular. Man Bear Pig is South Park. That's the one. Well, he is a Man Bear Pig. N is for the reactor in it. There you go. Lucas coming in there. That's that easy to understand. Half man, half bear, half pig. That's the one. And Al Gore. Nice. Big drink. Right. I don't think we're going to have much luck as you had with the deck gun and U-boat for cold waters this time. Probably not. There we go. So we've got a full identification. We were wrong in our identification. It has been marked as a Grisha. Let's take a look at the Grisha in terms of its outfit. So with Grisha 3, very similar in scope. It's also a frigate, but with guided missiles this time. So it's currently using Test 71M torpedoes, RBU 6000. It's got deck guns and anti-missile guns, which is interesting. So we can't really engage it with missiles either. So yeah, basically a very, very similar sort of ship, only this one's got guided missiles as well, which isn't too bad. In terms of its actual sonar suite, it's actually a little bit worse than the POTI. Yeah, high frequency towed array and medium frequency passive. This hull-mounted active/passive medium frequency set is mounted on later Soviet ships where it replaces the earlier bullnose medium frequency array. So slightly updated, but not really good enough to pick us out in any discernible measure. What they're going to do is fire on our last known line of bearing. So what I am going to do is I'm going to try and confuse them with attacking at an unusual angle. I'm going to make the ship ready to fire, and I'm going to fire passively down deep. We are currently holding at 1,000 meters, or feet, sorry, meters. Force of habit, been playing lots of cold waters. Other one, U-boat. Right then, so let's go up here and then let's fire our salvos here. So we're going to fire 2 weapons, one after the other. We're going to get ready to shoot. We're going to keep them on passive homing, and we're going to set them not to surface search. In fact, yes, we are going to set them to surface search. So we're going to fire up north, and we're going to come at them from the right. So we're going to go north and then turn right using the wire. For anybody wondering, yes, these are wire guided. These do have literally miles and miles of copper cable coming out the back of them. So what we are going to do is we're going to fire bearing 001 to a range of 5,500 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 1.
Fire control, we've lost the wire.
Okay, we've lost the wire on that one. That one is a dud. We're going to reload and we're going to get ready to fire weapons 2. That's a lost one. We're going to fire at what the plan was to fire up north and turn it around. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to fire a little bit more directly, and we're going to go bearing 035, range to enable 5,700 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 3.
Oh, yeah.
Tube 3 is away. Okay, we have maintained the wire for this weapon. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get it a little bit on target. Yeah, sometimes you can have broken wires. Sometimes the wire doesn't track. They have fired in retaliation against us. Okay, what we're going to do then, we are going to come down a very, very deep dive. Take us down to 1,200 meters. We are going to turn directly onto the Grisha because the gig is up, and we're going to go from there. If we had just fired one weapon, it might not have been too bad, but in this case, we have dogged the shot a little bit. That's a wasted torpedo, but what can you do? Okay, we've got a shot coming in here. We're going to try and stay quiet and deep, but we're going to probably change course. We're going to... if we hold current course, probably be better. Let's go left a little bit. Helm, come left bearing 318.
Come left to 318.
The Kazbek, in whatever measure it is now starting to turn away, so the screening ships are trying to save him. Let's bring us up to a head 10 knots, 2/3. Let's come faster.
10 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Let's try not to break our wire here. Fantastic.
Making turns for 10 knots.
So we're currently making 10 knots. We're going to try and get ahead of the torpedoes. Now, torpedoes do move very, very quickly, and that's what he's decided to use against us. I'm hoping that the change in course is going to hopefully provide us with just a little bit of a tactical advantage when it comes to torpedo evasion, but the truth is we will see. I want you to know there is a chainmail weave that called the Sweet Pea. Fantastic. You must make it immediately. How's everyone doing this evening? You have to forgive me. I'm going to have to blow my nose. All of a sudden I've become very snotty. You'll have to forgive me. Oh, just bear with us a moment. Just going to mute. Lovely. The Grisha is being very ballsy, turning towards you. Yes. Yes, he is. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to activate this weapon early, and we're going to get it to run on the surface. So let's activate the weapon, and then let's get it to run up to the surface here. So this weapon is now changing depth aggressively to come up towards 0 meters, or at least 0 depth. Feet. Ugh. Yeah, so he's going to run to the target here. He's currently making a beeline for us to try and screen. That is no problem at all, though. Let us continue on this course. Now, this triangle here represents the active cone sort of search. So once the enemy comes into this cone, the torpedo will begin its acoustic homing, at which point the Grisha is pretty much done and dusted. What we then need to worry about is who we're going to be firing on next. Again, we're currently down very deep at 1,200 meters. We've just got to be mindful of the fact that, you know, a torpedo could brush right over our heads. In terms of the torpedoes carried by the Grisha, they have Test 71M torpedoes.
Fire control.
Range 27,000 yards at 35 knots, max speed 40, seeker head is 1,600 yards. This electrical torpedo is an improved version of the Test 71 wire-guided torpedo. The speed and range are the same, but the sensor range has been doubled to around 1,650 yards. So a very capable ship-launched torpedo here. Okay, weapon is going in. You can see it tracking on the target here. What tends to happen here is that the draft of these ships, so how far the hulls actually dip into the water, is very, very shallow. And so it actually takes a couple of passes for these torpedoes to actually connect with the target. What the enemy frigate has done here, the Grisha 3, is dropped a noisemaker into the water to try and confuse the sonar head. What he is going to do is try and drop a web of these to try and confuse our weapon. But the truth is, every time it reacquires him, it closes the gap a little bit further. This torpedo, I believe, pulls 65 knots when active, or like 64 knots, 60-something. So they're blisteringly quick, much faster than any reasonable warship could go. He's pulling in behind there. Oh, in comes the torpedo. It has gone active, and it is staying shallow. All being well, that should pass overhead. I just want to be careful here. We're going to turn in on the torpedoes here, as there's no chance of getting ahead of them. We're going to come down to the deepest depth we can, which is 1,300 feet, and then go from there. How much is that in kilometers per hour? I have no idea, Tyro. Not a clue. Here we go. Okay, so we're punching right into his noisemakers here. He might be in trouble, actually. Looks like he's made a mistake in terms of his evasion. The torpedo's closing in, unless he gets another one off here in very short order. He might do. Ooh, he has. Very, very nice. I'm not going to steer this weapon. I'm going to focus on, obviously, the torpedoes that are coming towards me here. Let's bring it up to 15 knots.
Make turns for 15 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Let's try and close the gap a little bit. 15 knots should be a little bit faster than the enemy warship Kazbek can handle, and then we'll go from there. Okay, torpedo is currently trying to search through the enemy's screening fleet here, screening ships. Let's turn the weapon in manually. I am going to steer it a little bit. He's been very, very good with his countermeasures here. He's really played it well, but what he doesn't count on is me still having the wire. And now that I have the wire, I can get him dead to rights like this. There we go. He won't have been ready for that. It's going to hit any second. He can hear his engine. Lovely. Very big hit. There we go. Target should reappear. There we go. Big old hit. Very, very light 850-ton ship. It's going to really feel that one. Okay. Hostile weapons are coming in here. Targets. Oh. Yeah, target. Searching relatively shallow, about on the 200-meter mark there, give or take. Let's reload a harpoon into tube 3 there. Just get ready, engage the Kazbek here. Then we need to see what's going on. The torpedoes are coming in, actively homing. We are currently very deep.
Sonar,
sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 0, 6, 3.
There we go, we've been made by at least this one. What we're going to do is we're going to come ahead flank.
2, 5.
25 knot speed. We're going to let this guy come down deep. He will not go for the wreck of the Grisha, unfortunately. Partly because it's having some trouble sinking.
0, 7, 4. Contact faded.
What we need to do is try and avoid this other torpedo coming for us. I'm not deep enough. Can't go any deeper than this, unfortunately. So the target, both torpedoes, okay, both torpedoes have acquired me. What I can do is try and pull them up together, and then change depth aggressively.
Oh, yeah.
And then go from there. Helm, bring us right bearing 094.
Come right to 094. Helm I.
There we go, there is the weapon. We're going to take manual control. And then we're going to use that tactic I said before about using knuckles. In fact, we're going to drop a decoy first. Decoy away. It's not confused it. No, it has confused it. Fantastic. Just passing behind us. Helm, come left full rudder for me. Maintaining 24, 25 knots if possible. Excellent stuff. So we're going to go down very deep. We want to get these torpedoes to be as bunched up as they can so that we can evade them both pass in parcel. They look like they're going to be very, very close to each other. What I want to do is come a little bit further left, however, because I want to be able to engage the Kazbek. Like I say, torpedoes at this point in the war are very, very nasty.
5 knots.
There we go, you can see our noisemaker. Where are the bandits? Can hear him pinging away.
Steady course.
Oh, there he is. And he comes. 25 knots. He's moving a lot faster than I am. Let's throw out a knuckle now, get them confused. Knuckle formed. Okay, what we're going to do is full rise on planes, full left rudder here. What we're going to do is come up above them in the most aggressive fashion that I can.
Passing 1,200 feet.
1,200 feet aye. So I'm at full speed, full rise on planes. I am as buoyant as I can possibly be. I am turning up on them.
Passing 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. Not really changing depth fast enough here.
Passing 900 feet.
900 feet. Waiting for the torpedo acquisition marker. No.
Passing 700 feet.
700 feet, aye. They have failed to acquire us. Slow us down to 10 knots. Dive, make depth 200 feet, give or take. 250.
Make depth 250 feet. Dive I.
250 feet, dive I. So what we are doing now is currently hiding above the acquisition range of these guys. So if you imagine they have a cone out in front of them, they are currently trying to look for me at a deeper depth than I currently am. So I've changed depth very aggressively, and that has lost the acquisition. The only problem is that I cannot move too far away from these, because if you think of a cone in 3 dimensions rather than 2 dimensions like the game shows on the minimap, the further you get away from the tip of the cone, the point, the wider the base is, if you follow me. So like in terms of height, it searches much higher and lower, and so the further you get away from the target, the more likely it is to acquire you in terms of elevation, which is a bit of a problem.
Dive at 250 feet. Dive I.
How do you know what depth they are looking at? Well, it just gives you an idea. You don't know exactly what the search cone is, but generally as a torpedo evasion attack tactics, that is generally one of the better ones. Ideally, you don't get shot at in the first place, which is again the whole point of trying to change the direction of which I was firing at, but unfortunately at 8,000 yards, we were very, very close quarters. It was a bit of a knife fight. Dive, bring us up to 200 meters. Let's get just above the duct here, because I want to be able to engage the Kazbek before he gets too far away, and that requires a certain amount of finesse. Torpedoes are passing right underneath us. If we watch this torpedo and look up, there we are.
Helm, steady course.
Lovely. Again, we don't want to get too far away if we can help it, so we're going to slow down to 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
Then we're just going to wait for the weapons to clear. What I am going to do actually is I'm going to come to a full stop and we're going to come up to periscope depth using these. Let's see how we're doing. The Poti is over there, our other torpedo is over there. We've got our harpoon ready. We could engage the Kazbek with our harpoons here. I think it might be an idea. Let's engage the Kazbek. Does it have any... No, it does not have any residual anti-aircraft or anti-missile guns. So let us come up to 200 feet. I'm going to raise the radar, providing we're not getting screened by hostile airships, like helicopters and stuff. And then we can go from there. Right, up we come. So we're going to fire our first missile, and then we'll fire our second. We're going to go not for a narrow cone of fire, but we're going to go for a relatively... No, we'll go for a wide cone. Skimming search. Lovely. Coming up to PD. Raise the radar mast. This is going to give our position away, but the target is so far away I don't think they're going to really be able to capitalise on that. There is our target. Let us engage. Fire, bearing 072, range to enable 13,600 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 3.
3. Aye, sir.
Missile away. Again, on our target here. We're going to wait for the other one to fire. No doubt he is going to send some sort of a retaliatory strike, but until these torpedoes are cleared, I am very much stuck in the lion's den here. Firing another missile at the target, as I don't think one will be enough. Firing point procedures 072, range to enable 13,900 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 4.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Reload MOSS decoy tube 4, Mark 48 tube 3. Dive take us down to 200 meters.
Make depth 200 feet. Dive by.
Feet. Meters. Again. Sorry, been playing too much U-boat. Missiles are away. Coasting in. He has tried to pop countermeasures, but unfortunately we're not going for him. We're going for this guy. The guy thinks that we're attacking him, and so he popped his countermeasures. He's just too far away from this guy. We are tracking the target. Oh, we got shot down. Very, very nice. Okay. One missile still going in. Countermeasures managed to get me. Let's see if we can get another target in. Looks like they fired some kind of anti-ship missile. Let's see whether they get another one in time. Ready for the intercept. Be curious if they do. Oh. Excuse me. Excuse me! Where was that going? Okay, well, fair enough. Looks like we are going to have to engage and destroy this Grisha in some measure. So let's get a torpedo out on it as fast as possible. I have no idea. Anti-missile missile? It must have been. I've never seen a missile do that. Missile be like, nope. Missile was, they got AAs, I'm out. Yeah, that was interesting. I've never actually seen a torpedo or a missile do that in this game. That was a learning experience. Right, let's fire on the target here. Grisha 3, bearing 058, 7,300 yards to enable. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 3. Radar mast.
Lower the radar mast.
Very good point. Don't want to flood it. Good point on the radar mast. Another torpedo out. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to activate this weapon to run immediately, just so it runs at top speed. Nice. We got shut down. Very, very nice. That's it. Well, it's nice to see that the AIs, coming from U-boat's destroyer screening fleet, you know, with that fucking Nelson that we killed in the last stream, where like all the destroyers were having some kind of Jenga session slightly further south of its primary screen. Yeah.
Torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
It was, yeah, it's just kind of refreshing to see ships, even as small as the Grisha, are able to kind of stop me in my tracks, which is interesting. Just blowing my nose again, I apologise. Yes, modern warfare at its finest. Okay. So like I say, torpedo is picking up speed. Torpedo is about covered 2.3 kiliyards, 2.4. You can give you an idea of the speed, 2.5. So that's 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards, and that should give you the idea of the absolutely blistering speed this torpedo is actually moving at. These things are fast. Modern ships have enough radars and defense systems to defend against 12 simultaneous attacks for some 10 times. Yeah, it's true. Nice, here we go. We are tracking our target here. Grisha is still a little bit far away. These modern torpedoes are taking a long time to give up the ghost. These will explode soon. Problem is I can't move until they do. Let's reload more missiles. Reload, or unload tube 2, reload it with a harpoon. There's nothing surgical strike about this. We are going to take hundreds and thousands of taxpayer dollars and just throw them at the enemy out of catapults and trebuchets, whatever I can get my hands on. In theory, yeah, that's it. How long until the enemy torpedoes disengage? I have no idea. The Grisha is now wise to the fact that I am engaging him with a Mark 48. It looks like he's detected it as it runs across the surface at top speed. It is no longer inconspicuously trying to make its way to the target. It is slapping away at full pelt. There's no point trying to engage with another missile because it looks like the Grisha's ability to screen against missiles has really fucked me over here. They've saved the Kazbek and they're really trying to bail it out. 1.2 million. Jesus Christ. I wanted to say 1,200,000 then. Is that valid? I don't know. Thank you very much there to Royalask. I'm not sure if that's how I say it. But thank you very much, sir, for the Twitch Prime sub. Do enjoy your emotes.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Tube 2 ready, aye. Okay, in terms of the maximum range of our harpoon here, we have got... Yeah, and unless he gets to, like, here, where my cursor is, he's in range of the harpoons. So there's no danger of him coming out of range anytime soon. Which is very, very nice. We are drifting on a current, it looks like, to our northwest, or northeast, I should say. Fuckroy, indeed. Are those $1984 or modern dollars? Those will be $84, I'm guessing. The enemy Grisha is trying to run. We know based on his last signature that he was in and around here. Let's change the weapon to active search. So our weapon is now going to ping. Lovely. In today's money, 3 million. Right. Very, very interesting. Let's see how we do. Right then. So I reckon the Grisha is by any discernible amount about here. Our torpedo's running at top speed. Our torpedo is 21 minutes of what's called TTR, time to run. So basically 21 minutes of fuel. Nice. Is it worth trying to send missiles and a torp to hit it around the same time? Not really, because of the fact that there are different countermeasures that deal with them. Anti-missile will use the missile guns or the anti-missile, systems, and then the torpedo just requires maneuverability and decoys. It's very, very comfortable that they'll be able to evade both of those at the same time. Plus, if only one of them hits, it's still a write-off. Another torpedo coming in. This one's shallow. Okay, we do not have much time then. We need to de-ass the area with some prejudice here. Right, I've just got to hope that those torpedoes will disengage in the not too distant future. I'm going to leave it till the last possible moment to begin my manoeuvre, but I need to hope these torpedoes run out soon. Where is our target? Come on, show me the money. Show me the money. I know he's around here somewhere. Kind of hard to know whether this guy will detect me. 7,000 kiloyards. At his closest, he'll be 5,000 yards away, or about 4.8. Seek ahead on a Grisha in terms of its Test 71. Seeker range is only 1,650 yards, so that one, if that is the only one, should sail right past me. We shall see. Can't be too far away. Really can't be. Try and just do a relatively sweeping scan. We'll stay over here.
Con sonar.
Oh,
Noisemaker
there we go.
bearing
We got him dead to rights.
051.
Found him. Countermeasures have been dropped over here. Solution's going to improve. And then we're good to go. Okay. Fantastic stuff.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Fire control, weapon acquired. 18 minutes of fuel left. He's not going to be able to evade this for 18 minutes. He's pretty much donezo. Right then, we're not going to fire our harpoon until the point that the enemy Grisha is dead because of the shenanigans that it pulled last time, getting to basically fucking here. If I was the missile, getting to literally like here, and then deciding I was going to do a U-turn and go back for the Grisha. I think that's a bit silly, but that's how the countermeasures work. I believe that's ECM jamming that he did there, but I don't know for sure.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Nice. Okay, we're coming in again. 18 minutes of fuel. As I say, he's going to begin dropping his decoys, and then we should be good to go. Right. Let's see how we do here. Interesting.
Con sonar.
Not too bad, he's
Noisemaker
turning
bearing
away.
051.
Hello, Boss G. Well, I heard a helicopter then.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Weapon acquired. I believe he just dumped another weapon on us. He did. Oh, very interesting. Lovely. Our weapons underneath us have finally detonated. Right. Let's turn the screws for 10 knots. Com bearing 009.
Maneuvering
Oh,
aye.
Grisha, contact breaking up.
Dive at 200 feet, dive aye.
That's the Dubner, or the Kazbek, sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus, the momentum. Oh my god, the momentum. Jesus Christ. Fucking... Jesus. It fucking just ran in. He just speared himself under the water. Christ. God, he is gone. And there ain't no coming back from that. Oh yeah, we hit him right on the bow. Jesus. Submarine detected. No, it doesn't look like there was a submarine. Right. We can now finally engage our hostile ship here, now that there's no screening. So let's fire on the Kazbek. Firing point procedures bearing 073, range to enable 19,200 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 2.
Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir.
Reload this. There we go. Missile is going up. And then missile is away. Drops its little booster. So that helps get it through the water. And then we are on to attack just this speck on the horizon. But it's well within the harpoon's range, so off it goes. There's the sinking of the other vessel. In we go. Reloading another harpoon just in case one isn't enough. Very nice. Hey Quebec, how are you feeling? It's really weird. Like, all of the breathlessness is gone. Because for anybody just joining us, I've had very mild coronavirus symptoms. I've gotten away with it, but it was still unpleasant. A lot of people have had a horrendous fever, a horrendous cough, really bad breathlessness, joint ache as a result of the fever. People have been really achy, so I hear. I managed to just get away with the breathlessness and a very slight fever, which was nice. But breathlessness is unpleasant in any form, to be honest. Here we go, missile's going to be going in. As of the moment, I seem to have developed this weird snottiness, this runny nose. Wahoo! Big hit on the stern. Not a kill, however. Large fire on board. Unlike U-boat here. I forget, isn't there a free cam? I'm sure there's a free cam button. I forget which one it is, though. I'm sure there's a free cam. Is it N? I want to say N. What is the free cam button? I know there's a free cam. Where is the free cam? Hide HUD. Camera event on and off. Still camera. Change to scenery. Interesting. It's not tilde. It's not tilde. Or at least I don't think it is. Yeah, I can't seem to... it just unlocks the camera. Doesn't... Yeah, it just stops it tracking. It's the tilde T. Click on the target to view.
Sonar lost
Oh.
contact. Master 1. Last bearing 0.
I cannot,
7,
sadly.
5.
We need to come back up.
5 feet, dive by.
At least to 200 feet, actually. We'll come back up to 200. And then we'll go from there. Might as well go active. No point at this range, nosebag. We'll never detect anyone at 1900 or 19,000 yards. We'll never detect anyone.
Con sonar regained contact
There we go.
on. Master
Let's fire another one on the
bearing
Kazbek. Firing
0,
point procedures
7,
once we
5.
come up to the right depth. We're going to get ready to engage. Back quote, is it? No, back quote. This one? No. Yeah, it just sort of... It unlocks the camera, but it does not... It's not free cam.
200 feet.
Fair enough. Right. 200 feet, come on. Bubble off, come on, bubble on the boat. Oh, come on, you bastards. Come up to 150 then.
150
I'm pressing all the wrong
dive
buttons.
by.
This poor cargo ship. Unfortunately, he has to die, for he's resupplying enemy warships with fuel and whatever else. So, firing point procedures on the Kazbek. Fire tube 3.
3. Aye, sir.
A lot of weapons used, but a lot of important things have been sunk. So there we go. Large fire on the horizon. It's only a matter of time before we get him. Very, very nice. Can come up to the surface for a bit. Come on up.
Depth 4, 5 feet, dive by.
No reason to stay down there. Let's come up and say hi. There is every reason to stay down there, by the way. Like, you wouldn't surface just for the fun of it, but there's no real repercussion in this game now that everything's been sunk. Like, off-screen ships and, like, radar won't detect me, when in reality they would. 3 torps, 4 harpoons, that's it.
Sonar, we are cavitating.
That we are. Coming up. Let's say hello. Very nice. Good evening there, Hal Jess. First time being here. Like the stream so far. Thanks for streaming. No worries, mate. Thanks for coming in. And up we come. Excellent stuff. Boop. I like to think that sound effect accompanies any surfacing submarine. Very nice. And up she runs to the surface. Very nice. Not much to say about it. Only making 10 knots, nothing too dramatic. She sits very low in the water. Like, very low, compared to most submarines. Just really the conning tower comes up and above. Very nice. Suddenly a Tupolev, that's it. Oh, shit, I've scared me to death.
Last bearing 0, 7, 7. Contact breaking up.
I don't see it at all. Must have sank like a lead balloon. Let's have a look. Kazbek. Oh, yeah, she's feeling that. Massive sort of rupture in the middle of the hull there. Then we are good to go. Now, I don't think they fired off any extra torpedoes, so I'm going to go for a whiz. And we're just going to watch our submarine as it slowly bobs its way through the water here. So I'll be right back with you. Back in a sec. Right then, here we are. I'm back. Lovely. So, let's report our mission complete here. So, the USS Narwhal SSN 671 in the vicinity of the Norwegian Sea. Captain Exo reports that we have no close contacts, no weapons nearby, no aircraft nearby, and no flooding. Leave combat. After action reports to the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet, we radio in that we have sunk 2 times Grisha-class FFGs and a Kazbek oil tanker. Weapons remaining 13 Mark 48s, 2 MOSSs, 4 UGMs, 0 TASMs, and 0 TLAMs. No system damage. Lovely. So, the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet radios back. Good to hear you intercepted and destroyed the enemy replenishment resources. Good work, keep it up, and further orders will be transmitted soon. Fantastic. Abandon ship, that's it. Signing off, watching a bit of Stargate, and I wish you an immer ein Handbriet Wasser unterm Kiel. Natural German, that is. German, always have at least a handful of water under your keel. Fantastic. Brilliant advice, thank you. Thank you very much there to Humane Hobgoblin as well. Good to see you in chat there, mate. Right then, I bought it, that's it. Let's move on then. So, with regards to the radio report of the next day here, Warships Retreat, 8th of November 1984. NATO warships and submarines have taken up several new strategic positions, including some around the Greenland Sea, in response to significantly reduced Soviet naval activity. Sources close to the Pentagon said that the war is taking a heavy toll on enemy naval operations and that their supply lines continue to be heavily strained. Recent NATO gains at sea have decreased the numbers of warships needed to maintain control in several regions. Many vessels from these regions have been rapidly reassigned to escort duties to better protect convoys carrying much-needed arms, armour and men from the United States to the United Kingdom. So, reduced enemy presence in the Greenland Sea also gives NATO a little bit of an upper hand, but NATO is still very much on the back foot. Herded worst German. So have I. Right, okay. So, immediately after sinking our vessels here, we've had another report come in from the Commander-in-Chief. Another top-secret order here. Tactical situation. An enemy cruise missile submarine is transiting southward in the Norwegian Sea towards the North Atlantic convoy routes. You must sink it. This enemy sub is believed to be a diesel-electric Juliet class. It may have an attack sub-escort. So, an enemy missile submarine, SSGN? No, or just an SSG, I think it is moving south to basically attack convoy shipping coming over from America. So, we need to make sure that we're cutting them off, essentially. TNT Pot, thank you very much there for the 2 months. And Captain Gingerbeard for 22, sir. Very, 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 very good. Nice one. At Long in Quebec, what do you think of this game? Your experience from U-Boat would help, eh? I actually played this way before I played U-Boat Tactical Racer. I played this years ago. I've been streaming on and off for the last 4 years now, which is like ancient. But yeah, it's basically this has been my first sort of taste of submarine work. Will there be Divinity streams during the week, Damien? Or Damon, I should say. No, I'm not sure. Is my answer to that. But yeah, we'll go from there. Juliet class looks amazing. That it does. I do like the Juliet. It's a shame it's pretty bad. Right, so continue on course. So we review orders here. North Atlantic convoy routes transiting southwards towards the new Norwegian Sea from the Norwegian Sea. Oh, we've been intercepted by ASW. Okay, not good. We've got a hostile contact moving in. So USS Narwhal SSN 671. In the vicinity of the Norwegian Sea, 8th of November 1984, 0700 hours, so an hour later. Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 169 designated as Sierra 1. XO reports our depth is 600 feet, heading 80. Speed is 20 knots. There is a storm that's rolled in, which should help us with regards to evasion. How's my day been, Mr. Weaverson? Not too bad. I played a little bit of XCOM 2 this morning, just on me lonesome just hanging out, kind of trying not to suck at it. I don't know, I much prefer XCOM Enemy Within, but preference, it's not bad. I just prefer the other one. And then we played Borderlands 2. Me, Jane, and Echo, we've all been playing a Borderlands session, just closed door-like. We just beat the Warrior, and we beat Terramorphous as well. Level 50 our characters are. I'm playing Zero, Sniper, classic, rather than, say, Melee or Submachine Gun, something weird. Okay, so let us... all hands to battle stations, and then we'll go from there. How am I feeling now? I don't know. I've inexplicably, in the last couple of hours that I've been streaming, have managed to develop a really runny nose, and I have no idea where it's come from. So I'm probably going to be getting some rest. Good to hear. Sounds like a good gaming session. That it was. Ever played BattleTech? No, I have not, Dune. I can't say I have. War of the Corruption makes it a lot better, yeah. So,
On sonar.
all hands to battle
Rigging ship
stations.
for ultra quiet.
Rigging ship for silent running. I'm going to have to leave the ship out of silent running, in fact, because I need to reload some weapons. We're going to reload 2 torpedoes and a harpoon and see how we go from there. Right then, so in terms of close contacts, we're going to be slowing down. Let's take a look at the conditions here. No thermal there, very, very loud.
Con sonar, new contact bearing.
But we do pick a sonar out of
150,
the water here,
0,
despite the
1.
loud ambient conditions. Let's come over to hostile warships, because it is an enemy ASW fleet. Nimitz, these are, there we go, the start of hostile shipping here. Now, because of the hostile signature, it's probably fair to say that we're fighting a Eudaloy. It looks like this band here is kind of shining through, so let's go for a shot on this Eudaloy. Let's lock it in as such, mark as a Eudaloy. Let's take us down to... let's go down to 1,000 feet, and we're going to loose a torpedo early. Let's go shallow search, I should say, and active homing. Fire a snapshot on bearing 141, range to enable 3,900 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Weapon 1 has cleared the tube and is running normally. The weapon is going to run up to the surface,
Torpedo room.
and then hopefully engage the Eudaloy with some level of prejudice, which is what I like. Apparently. Yeah, 101 decibels is a bit louder than a snowmobile, yes, but in terms of us, we are only running at 115 decibels, which means if a hostile target wants to detect us, they have about a difference of 5 decibels, which is nothing. So yeah, we're very well hidden.
New contact bearing. 1,
Right,
7,
Sierra
3,
2, let's
0,
see.
2.
He is shining through a little bit brighter. We've got something here that we can try and identify. Try and line up this. Looks like we have a Kara, potentially. CG. I'm going to mark
Con
that.
sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as escort.
Right, let's run the weapon up to the surface here. Still a little bit far out, but we'll see how we do here. I want to see if I can track this guy on the surface. Weapon is running up to the tippy top. Let's see how we do. Very nice. Okay, not bad at all. Your tactical and strategic planning is always a treat to watch. I am definitely taking notes. No worries, Tactical Racer. I wouldn't take notes from me. I fucking stumble through it like a man with a blindfold. I just want to check something as well. See who's on. Watch that. Lovely, not too bad. Right, close that and then back in here. Sorry, thank you. Lovely there. Okay, so far so good. Staying down, relatively deep diving here. Now the Eudaloy, if we are fighting a Eudaloy, is a very modern Soviet destroyer. This is a Eudaloy 2 DDG potentially. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's just the first class of them. I don't think the second class is time specific, so... or at least not to this era. I say era like it was that long ago. It kind of was. It's 40... I mean, fucking... Here's fucking 46 years ago, 1984 was. Like, it's a fucking long time ago, folks. Feels like 10 years ago. I don't know why. But yeah, the Eudaloy DDG here at the point in game, 1984, is a very, very modern Russian destroyer. And it has more than enough equipment and one of the most modern Soviet torpedoes in order to absolutely kick the snot out of us. So yeah, it's pretty grim jumping into this one. Similar performance to the Mark 48, and that should tell you everything you need to know. Nice. Okay, so we're still tracking over here. Q feeling like a boomer? I do. I aim like a boomer. Talk like a boomer. Boomer at heart. 36 years, Quebec. What did I say? Did I say 46? Math is hard. Forgive me, I am ill. That is my excuse, anyway. COVID impairs your ability to do math, I see. That's the one. I never realised DD torpedoes were capable of engaging subs. They certainly are. Eudaloy has been locked in. Let us fire a second salvo. And let's go for surface search and engage on the line of bearing for the Kara. We're going to estimate and lead a little bit ahead of him, and we're going to aim for bearing 190, range to enable 11,800 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 2.
Con fire control with con sonar.
Lost the
Sierra
wire.
1 is
Okay,
classified
frustrating,
as
but it's
escort.
kind of going the right way, so we can only hope that the car is going to tuck tail and run, and then we can go from there. We'll see how that engages. Let us reload a torpedo into tube 2. Let's start turning the screws for 15 knots. We're going to pick up a little bit of speed, and we're going to go from there.
Maneuvering eye.
Okay, we're coming in on the side. It is a Cresta 2, not a Udaloy. Still very, very modern
Con sonar lost
Soviet
contact.
warship
Sierra
here.
2,
Cresta 2
flaps bearing
CG,
1,
bullnose,
3,
medium frequency
contact
passive, with slightly... Actually, this is a little bit outdated.
Turns for
She's lifting hard. She does have the ability to launch a helicopter. Do they have one up already? They do. They've managed to get one of their helicopters up. Okay, they've got a helicopter up in the air. Annoying, but we've got to be careful for that. This guy is playing an interesting game. He might get a... Is he going to get a thing off? No, it's going to hit him right at midships. Vamoosh!
contact. Sierra 1, flaps
No recovering
bearing
from
1,
that.
6.
Massive
Contact
gash in
radio.
the side of the hull, port side left. Already a pretty strong list. Very, very nice. Does the sub have AA missiles? No, it does not, Historia. Most submarines tend to be completely at the mercy of enemy ASW.
Con, torpedo
Or
ready.
at least, sorry, maritime air patrols. Or in helicopters in this case. Oh yeah, she's feeling that. All stop on the engines. Listing very hard to port. Big fire at midships in the superstructure. Yep, that is good night, Irene. Okay, the other torpedo, the odds of it actually finding its target are a little bit low, I'll be honest, but we'll see how we go there. I could try and bring it up to PD and see how we go. Let's give it a go. Let's bring us up to PD. We might be able to do an ECM detection and go from there. It's one hell of an oil leak. What am I driving? This is a... Oh, it's Marcus. Mr. Marcus Crassus, our relative submarine man. Unless I'm confusing you with someone else, in which case I apologise. You can still be our submarine man, though. Yes, I'm driving the Narwhal, Sturgeon silent running variant. How did we go? Any losses yet? Not quite yet. You are not. It me. Lovely. Good to see you, Marcus. Right. So yeah, we're playing in the Narwhal today. We're currently in the Greenland Sea, to give you some idea. We've been intercepted by an enemy ASW. We have sunk a Cresta 2. But we have a weapon going out on the Kara that we have otherwise lost at the moment. It's lost in a storm. Conditions are pretty shite up here on the water. 600 peeps in chat, I know, right? Them coronavirus numbers. Drinks water. Right then. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to come up and we're not going to use the radar because that will give our position away. But we might be able to get away with just an eeny-weeny bit of periscope. I hope that that's enough.
Ready.
The periscope will give us away to some degree, but hopefully not as bad. Well, definitely not as bad as using the radar. The natural circulation
Con
plant
sonar.
boat. That
We
was
are
the one.
cavitating.
Let's bring it down to 5 knots.
Make turns. Con sonar. No longer cavitating.
No longer cavitating. Aye, right then. Let's rock and roll here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marcus Crassus here is an actual submariner that may or may not have served on a Seawolf, if my memory serves me vague. Do feel free to fire him some questions. Or not, Marcus. If you'd rather not answer questions, do please say in chat. If you'd rather just sit there quietly and just enjoy the stream, that's fine. Connecticut, Seawolf class, that's the one. Ooh, okay, that was pro. Okay, right, crash dive. Do I have the alarm? Do I have the alarm? I have the alarm. Crash dive. Fucking Jesus, get out of the way. Christ almighty. Take us down, please, as a matter of urgency. We gotta go. Holy fucking shit. Emergency deep. Christ above. We have gotta go. Like, okay, fantastic. Jesus Christ.
200 feet.
They've absolutely shat a couple of torpedoes at us into the storm. Let's turn away from these bad boys. 353I. These torpedoes are a little bit dated, so I have a little bit of time before they engage me, but
No longer cavitating.
no longer cavitating. Get us down, dive, dive, dive,
Passing
dive.
500 feet.
500 feet, aye. dive. The estimated depth I want you to get to is 1,350. We're going to go a little bit past test depth. 30 feet past test depth, but that'll be fine for us for the purpose of just getting the fuck away from these torpedoes and getting deep. Currently down 900 feet. Passing down to 950 and then 1,000 feet. Nice crash dive there. Very, very aggressive. Very, very nice, but it got us out of the way. Yeah, that was it. Very nice. I'm away for 5 seconds. This is what I come back to. That's it. Scenes in Das Boot were intense depiction of what it could be like back then. That's the one. Finks, thank you very much, and Marcus, do enjoy your sub there. This boat had seawater scoops. They ended up putting those on my boats, and I assume later ones. What is a seawater scoop there, Crassus? You furnish us with the information. Well, I am an ignorant civilian, my friend. I have no idea what's going on. What's a seawater scoop? Scoops up seawater. Basically a ram scoop for seawater cooling. Ah.
2, 5.
Is that oxygen production? I'm not sure. I assume it scoops seawater. Okay, there was a bit of common sense there, I admit. There was a bit of common sense involved.
183, helm I.
Turn in. You shouldn't really go broadside to a torpedo that's searching for you, but I don't really want to... Do I really want to lose cons? We'll see, we'll see. It's the heat sink for the turbines. I see. Lovely. Right. Bit more water. I'm not sure where this sudden runny nose has come from. I can only... I want to assume that it's just my body oozing away the coronavirus. Or at least that's my hope. But we will see. Lovely jubbly. Right, we're coming between the two torpedoes here. As I say, these are slightly older torpedoes that we're being engaged with here from the Crest 2. Crest 2 CC, or no, CG, sorry. Yep, these old Set 65Ms. Not that great, not a massive seeker range. Okay torpedoes, but not great. Lovely. It's your brain melting, that's it. My work has now been sent into lockdown. Lovely. Oh my god, the original tube. Thank you very much for the 10 tier 1s. Fantastic, sir. Thank you very, very much. It's all paying the bills. That's the one. Thank you very, very much. Dive, dive, dive. That's the one. There you go, Apple. Excellent stuff. Keep an eye on your body temp. No fever. Probably no COVID. Yeah. I did have a fever before Crashburn, mate. But yeah, as of right now, not that warm, to be honest. It's probably just me getting it all out of my system. Thank you very much. Can I get some cube love for Mr. Original Tube there? Very, very kind. He's become somewhat of a financier over the last couple of months. I appreciate that. For I am out of work on SSP because of my deathly virus. How long will you be on for? I'm probably going to do this mission and maybe another one, and then we'll go from there in terms of how long we'll be streaming for. So we'll run this mission to the remainder, and then we'll go from there. Lovely. It's amazingly generous. It is Craig. He's a very nice man. He gets all of the cube love. Noddy nose just comes from inflammation. It's a side effect of influenza most commonly. Probably a sign of late corona too, but not necessarily. That's it. Unlike Digby, your streams, Cold Waters, lack a distinct amount of Eurobeat and panicking. Yes. There is. I will be the first to say that this game is actually very difficult, and it's almost like actually being a submarine in wartime conditions is reasonably difficult. But in the case of this, it's like Jesus. It's like rough. Like fucking torpedoes in terms of their like acoustic homing are just so good. Like I don't know how anybody evades them. I'm sure fucking Crassus knows various top secret technologies that he's got to, you know, tap his temple, can't tell us secret information. But yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. I have no idea how, like, apart from just, your sort of more traditional torpedo evasion tactics. I don't know what's in place these days. That's the one, Jaina. Lovely. Aren't there torpedo decoys, bubble makers, and sonar decoys? Yes, but I imagine, as much as I imagine that those actually work, I imagine that, Jesus, how long has it been? Was it 34 years with my bad maths? 36 years? It's like, I imagine the systems in place to actually counter those defensive countermeasures. The words, you know what I was trying to say. Yeah, the actual counters to those are in place. Modern fish don't care for the most part for those. Your defense is not being detected. Yeah, essentially. So shut the fuck up and don't get seen. Is a good strategy. Just going to blow me nose here. So you would say there, Marcus, in your unofficial, non-obligatory, you know, totally anonymous, you know, untraceable opinion, that you would say that really the best course of action is, well, obviously not to be detected in the first place, but you would say that in terms of defensive countermeasures, you're pretty much done for. Like, if they actually shoot on you, then it's GG kind of thing. Thanks for the mute button. You're very, very welcome. Just run. We can also hunt whales, right? Very true. We can also hunt whales. Let's slow us down to a head 1/3. I want to see if I can try and get a decent turn away, flank speed, and just hope you can put enough distance between it. Yeah. Can I send the link I've pestered you about for the last few days, Tharvus? What, in chat? I thought it was for private use, Tharvus.
Contact on Sierra 2, bearing 168.
Okay, let's have a look here. Noddy Cats. Well, subs are hard to detect in the first place. Wasn't there a manoeuvre with the US and some small Scandinavian country where they're small diesel electric sub? Yes! With a Sterling type engine. It was Scandinavia. I can't remember. Sweden? I can't remember. The Gotland. That's the one. Sweden. Why are you hunting my country of a sheepland? What's it? Yeah, it's true. Sweden, that's the one. Swedish submarine, the Gotland. Hey Q, how's it going? You sound better than the last time I heard you. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit better, but I've inexplicably got a runny nose. A little bit of inflammation in my face. Hopefully not. Because the bad guys up 4 can shoot without positive ID, but blue 4 can't. I see. Excuse me, Sierra 3, hello. How are you? That looks distinctly unusual. Very, very, very low frequency coming through on that. I'm going to assume that's civilian, because there's nothing really on the Russian Navy frequency, or even biologic. Ooh. Oil rig. There we go. Biologic.
Sonar.
No chat.
Is classified as
Aussie's got them too in an old O-boat. I see. Nice. Time to fucking hunt. Oh god. Nuke, nuke, nuke. God, they're out for blood. You're the worst, chat. You're actually the worst. I don't think I still have the things for it. No, I don't think I do. No, I don't. Just got like the Space Hulk Deathwing soundtrack and like armor and stuff. Don't have the original things anymore. Interesting. Lovely. Riot. There's a riot in chat, I'm sure. Lovely. I remember Jove once talking about the time when his sub ran into a whale by accident. Oh, Jesus. We want blood? Oh, God. Go on. Maybe I'll pander. But we'll see. Looks like our torpedo definitely missed. Vessels nearby. Could come up shallow here. Let's give it a go. Let's come up. Some appropriate music here, says Finks. Is that a certain Mario Striker's charged? I think it is. Kill the whale. Oh my god. And someone was just complimenting me on the lack of Eurobeat. £20 from Elf.
For Sparta.
Okay, lovely. Leonidas is in chat. How you doing? No. Very, very nice, mate. Give us this one. Oh, go on. It's been a while. I'll give you a whale kill. Marcus, look away. This is an inappropriate use of taxpayers' money. Right. Let's see. I can't remember the particulars, but someone wasn't paying attention. Ask Jive during his next stream and he might tell it again. Right, right. Lovely. Okay. We killing whales? By decree of chat, unfortunately. So this game is set in the Cold War era, 1960s. We're currently set in 1984 as of this campaign, Tactical Racer. But you can also play in 1968. The wheel, different thing. The whale is part of the Stasi. Yeah, I'm sure it is. This is why sonar men are weirdos. Fair enough. Oh, tried to tab out. We're coming up shallow here. I want to engage the hostile warship before I do anything else, which I think is understandable. Lovely. Chat pressure works every time. There's a lot of pressure. And it has been a very long time. Don't kill the whales of Wales. That's it. Very large ladies. Imagine for a moment the stoners from your high school, put them in a box and have them listen to whales humping all day. That's sonar men. Lovely. Chat pressure can make diamonds from coal. That it can. Whale first, then the Soviets. Yeah, that's it. They're good at their jobs, but fucking weird, yeah. Whale first, you must have your priorities, that's it. No, I want to see, because that Kara could be a lot closer than he first appears. Let's see here. I think this will be our last one, unfortunately, our last mission. I know I spent a lot of it cube waffling, but we're going to leave it here. I'm just going to do a two-parter, just because it takes a while to do these missions. It's almost like it takes a long time. Very large ladies, pissing myself. No worries, Weaverson. Nice. Brilliant. The Soviets have employed the whale as a spy. EF2 style, that's it. It's wearing the face of a... That's the one. It's got the face of a whale, but it is in fact an Akula. Isn't there still a heli flying around? Oh yeah. But he's not that close, so it's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly stick my periscope, non-euphemistically, above the water, and then we're going to have a quick swizzle round and hope that we can find him. He is roughly on bearing 162. Sorry, Canadian there. 1 more month until the Switch, baby. Messy Lude. Lovely. Right, so roughly around this bearing then. Or what was it? 16, so it's around here. Right then.
Sonar Sierra 3 is classified as biologic.
Humpback. Lovely.
Upscope.
Oh. This is what we call a big bad. You don't do that, but that's what I'm doing. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh. 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 Hi, friend. Downscope.
Downscope.
Right, we got a positive acquisition. Take us down to let's go 400.
Make depth 400 feet. Dive high.
Let's get a shot out. Firing point procedures, bearing 158, range 5,800 yards. Ship ready, tube ready. Shoot tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
We're going to go active homing for this one. Surface search. Lovely. 400 bits there from Casual FM with the blub. Thank you very, very much, sir. Nuke the humpback. We're working on it, alright? We're going to work on it. Together. Lovely. Right, there we go. Here's a pinging away on there. Won't take us too long to close the distance here. He was pretty close to us. Then we can go from there. You might want to active him. Kara is a lot closer. Let's do it. Let's go active on sonar. Get it to run out. Cresto is pretty happy having a nap on the bottom here. And we'll go from there. Hopefully they haven't got too many retaliatory responses in the water here. There is at least one, but I think that's this bandit running over here. 100 bits there. The term sperm whale was discovered by a naval seaman. Nice. Fantastic. Marcus Crassus there. Ourselves... Sorry, that 3 times. I'm not sure. To various questions. Under the ice cap. Interesting. Please tell me how is as chat has... Sorry. Please tell me how... is, as chat has turned a submarine serious game into a sexual innuendo. In your endo, Weaverson. There you go. Great. Immature as I am. Right. Let's see here. So he's somewhere around here somewhere. Nice. Cold waters or U-boat? What's better mechanically? I prefer... Scared me, that did. I prefer U-boat, personally, because I like the crew micromanagement aspect. And I think even mechanically, because you can do manual TDC on U-boats.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I do prefer that one. There are a couple of old submarine games, though, where you can do like manual TDC. They're just very old. Any submariner will tell you that anything is an innuendo. That's it. I'm sure it is.
Con, dive at 400 feet.
Trio, you make a very good point. From a viewer's perspective, I would say U-boat feels more social and connected. Yeah. And this does get very samey. It does, unfortunately. Cold Waters as a view, yeah. Feels like a movie, kind of. Yeah, I guess it does. In its own right. Ping, 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 ping. I hear pingity pings. Let's see, where is the baddie? I'm guessing he's somewhere around here still. My guess is he's turned tail and he's legging it.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Or he could be right there, whichever. Don't really mind. Happy to put him down either way. I tried playing Cold Waters. It was a disaster, yeah. That's how it normally goes. Good to see you again, Rago, as well. Wolfpack is amazing if you have a crew. I'm sure it is. How's the brother doing, Q? He's not doing too bad, Redbeard. He's pretty much on the mend. He'll be going back to work, I think, as of Wednesday next week. He'll be churned back out. I've got to be honest, I have no idea what I'm going to do when I go back to work, as in, like, during curfew, or not curfew, but over the quarantine for the next few months. I don't think our shop is going to literally be able to turn anyone, like, any amount of money over, so I don't know. Kara dead, now kill the whale. Is it dead, though? Is it dead, Purple Flames? Who knows? You've been playing a ton of Graveyard Keeper. You'd love to see multiplayer. I'd take on Quebec. You'd probably do a good job as well, Marcus. And die horribly due to arrogance. I don't know. He has the skills to pay the bills, for he has done for many years. Paid his own bills. Real life bills, not game bills. Actual Submariner versus UK retail worker. I'd say you've got more of an advantage. There's more. The odds are slightly better for the home side, I think. Lovely. Let's watch the torpedo hunt. I think we've actually got a kill coming in here. Go for yep. He's not going to be able to outturn this. He is no spring chicken. I don't think he's going to. Yeah, I think this is a midships hit. What sort of corn is sold at student unions? Unicorn.
Con, sonar lost
Do me a
contact.
favour.
Master 2.
Yeah.
Last
You know what?
bearing, 1,
You know what?
6,
Just for you.
5. Contact breaking up.
Lovely. There you go. Nice. I have trouble sinking ships in Silent Hunter 4 when I'm not on easy firing mode where the game does all the targeting work. Yeah, I'm the same, White Rhino. Any housing update? Was watching Cyanide crashing during prologue? I see. The house update? No, nothing new on that front. We're at the minute just waiting for the paperwork to be sent over, but we won't get a thorough update until Monday. My old man has signed off as a guarantor. We've sent all of the appropriate paperwork for us. Realistically, we could have the keys before March ends. But the only problem is that there's no shops open due to the quarantine status of everybody to actually buy things from. Although I did amusingly say the places that have to stay open, because for some reason, like, obviously the point of people closing their doors in terms of like pubs and restaurants and stuff like that. Let's get a torpedo on our lovely humpback whale friend here. Just get that sorted for chat before there's a fucking freak out.
Shoot,
There we go.
Aye, sir.
Yeah, so basically, like, a lot of the stores that aren't closing, like, I don't know, because it's really on an individual basis by that point. Like, the government ordered pubs, clubs, restaurants and stuff to close because they are social congregation points. In the case of an optician, it's a bit of a hazy one. On the one hand, you could say that, obviously, getting your eyes tested isn't essential, but it's not necessarily a social contact point either. So you kind of live in this limbo where people are advised not to come in, but it's not mandatory for you to close. So it's kind of like, well, what do I do? Do I go in? Do I not? It's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, I'm at least signed off until Sunday. Although I think I could even go back by Thursday, based on the fact that my symptoms have been and gone. After this runny nose, I'll see how this develops. First person on the torpedo? Oh, you're a sick man, Gino. I can do third person, I'll give you that. GameStop stands above the law. Yeah, that whole thing with GameStop was ridiculous. That's that torpedo that missed? We want this guy. Close proximity to staff members, no thanks. Well, you do have to have close proximity to customers, Freddie. I fit glasses for a living. I have to lean in and, touch glasses, make them, I have to look behind your ear, you know what I mean, to make sure that the hook of the glasses is going over, that it's not pinching on your nose. Like, I have a very up-close and personal routine with patients, you know what, that's it. So it's like, yeah, so it's a bit interesting. Lick the glasses. I do not lick the glasses. Now, stay off for the full 2 weeks. Q, COVID-19 can be infectious without symptoms, yeah. I know that a lot of the staff have been signed off. I mean, my line manager... Sorry, just adjust the enable point. My line manager's diabetic. He's got fibromyalgia, the like muscle degeneration type illness. He's got like arthritis in just about every joint. In fact, it's a wonder he still works at all, to be honest. But yeah, he's like, if he gets it, he's donezo. Lick the customer, no. It's a very quick way to be unemployed.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
There we go, weapon acquired. Let's go active homing. Let's show him his imminent demise. We're going to deafen him before we eventually blow him to smithereens with a Mark 48 torpedo. Very, very nice. Question for you, Q. If my safety glasses are digging into my nose bridge, what would cause that? What a shame. Right, there's a couple of things. It could either be that the frame's just very heavy, because it depends whether you've got a bony bridge or a soft bridge. The bridge on the nose, I've got a very bony bridge, which means I don't necessarily have a problem with nose pads digging in. One of the most common things is that the curve over the back of your ear is too tight. That's where a lot of them, someone get court-martial ready. So yeah, if your glasses are curved over your ear and the curve is too great, it kind of pulls the glasses back against the bridge. If you hold your frame, or just like on the corner of your glasses, just put pressure on, that is essentially, like pushing the frame backwards against your nose bone. The other one is nose pads not being adjusted at the right angle. Maybe they're too close together, maybe they're not flush with the bridge of the nose. I've been doing it for 4 years. I kind of know what I'm talking about. I'm disappointed in you. Can't believe you killed an innocent animal. We'll call it. Gino De Silva is one of these kids that like mucks around, like fucking throws paper at you, like throughout like a lesson at school, and then the second you throw paper back, it's like, sir, you threw paper at me. That is Gino right there. He advocate of whale killing, and then as soon as the fucking sea shepherd turned up, it's all, I don't know why he did it. Imminent animal. That's it. Anyway, we're going to call that there. Let me just sign off here. No vessels, no weapons, no nothing. Let's leave it there. Cresta and Kara, both engaged and destroyed. This was not your mission objective. We did get a medal for it, though. We got the Bronze Star Medal. The Secretary of the Navy expresses his heartfelt congratulations and takes great pleasure in awarding the Bronze Star Medal to Commander Quebec, Commanding Officer of the USS Narwhal, SSN 671. Citation: Commander Quebec is cited for extraordinary heroism in action against enemies of the United States of America on the 8th of November 1984. His unwavering resolve and self-sacrificing devotion to duty in the face of death are worthy of the highest emulation. I think he just took a picture of the certificate and sent it over. Or maybe he put it in like a watertight poly pocket and then just, I don't know, fucking paper aeroplaned it over to us. It's hard to know. Thank you for the stream, no worries. Bronze Star for war crimes, that's it. Conway Spy coming in. Tomorrow? Should be on. Oh, God, we've got submarines intercepting us. Let's save and quit it there before we get into another combat scenario. Right then, so thank you everybody for tuning in today. Hopefully you have all enjoyed Cold Waters. Hopefully we'll be getting back into 2-day streaming, but again, it all depends on symptoms and how I'm feeling and da-da-da-da-da-da. So we should go from there, which is nice. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in today. I will pass you on to somebody who hopefully is worth your eyeballs and brain time over our lovely period of pandemic. So let's see who is on. Also, I don't know why, but I've read on the news today that a lot of people have been going out, like just taking it as basically an extended holiday. Don't do that shit. Stay inside. It's called social distancing for a reason. Like, you can go out for a walk, by all means, go out for a walk as long as you observe a 2-meter distance. But don't go to the beach. Don't go to the beach with hundreds, potentially thousands of other people. Bananas. Okay, yeah, anyway, we won't get into that. But yeah, let's see who else is on. So Miss Jana is currently doing art. APL Fisher is doing Wreckfest. Shadow Killer's doing Minecraft, and Yuki's doing Modern Warfare. Let's take you on over to APL Fisherman here. Let's do that, shall we? Oh no, he's just watching YouTube videos. Let's instead go over to Jana then. Jana's doing a little bit of arty work. I think this is university work she's doing, so do feel free to send her my best, and then we shall go from there. So thank you everybody for tuning in today. A big thank you to everybody who's obviously helped get the Tiny Couch Fund to the place that it's at, and I shall see you all tomorrow for some more shenanigans. Probably going to be doing some Skyrim tomorrow, but we'll see what the flavour takes. So yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Do obviously feel free to jump over to Jana's and give her my best, and I will see you in the not too distant future, I should say. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.